Well, welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're glad that you're joining us again this week. We're very happy there are people like you out in our area, people that are interested in what's happening in our city's governments. Because you know, the city governments are the ones that directly affect things in your living arrangements. So we're glad that you're interested in what's happening. If you haven't watched our show before, each week we'll have someone on from one of the 9 cities in Northwest Community Television's viewing area to update us and let us know what's happening in that particular city and make you aware of issues that might be of concern to you. And we'll ask you to be sure to take down their phone number and their email and use that if it's an issue that really concerns you. And we're very happy tonight to welcome Mayor Jeff Lunde. We've had you on the program before, so we're very glad that we're going to learn a little bit about what's happening in Brooklyn Park.
Yep, absolutely. Glad to be here.
And you've been on our show before, so you know that I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to our wider audience.
Yep.
Tell our people out there a little bit about you and your time in Brooklyn Park, because people that don't live in your city might not be as aware of you as your own residents.
Absolutely. So Jeff Lunde, Mayor, City of Brooklyn Park. I've been mayor for a little over 5 years. Prior to that, I was on the City Council representing the East District for 4 years. I've been living here since '98. My wife is actually a Brooklyn Park resident, a lifer, so to speak. And so we moved back home for her. And we are blessed with a couple sons who are getting very active in lacrosse and all kinds of other things. So it's a good time.
And then you've had a lot of experience then with the city and seen some changes happening over time, I bet.
Yeah, I think one of the big changes we'll talk about in a little bit is the new library. I was actually on the Hennepin County Library Board, and certainly wasn't one of the people who helped move it along, but was advocating for the fact that we needed a new library. And so there's many of the things that people watching your program get involved with have an opportunity to influence things.
Yeah, and we're always asking people out there to make your voice known.
Yep.
And to also do it when good things happen.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you get a fair amount of people that don't like something, but it's good to find out when that's happening the way people want it to happen too.
And I tell people all the time, I said, if you don't tell us what's good, odds are we'll screw it up, because that's what government does. So, if we know things are working, that helps. Because, we want to focus on things that need to change for the better, not. And so oftentimes people tend to focus on the little things that aren't important.
Now, one of the areas that's been in the news a lot, and it's been underway for a long time, is the blue line extension of the light rail transit that used to be called the Botanoa line, right? So maybe you can give us a brief update on what's happened up to this point, just a little brief history of it for those that aren't following it.
Yeah, I think that who would have thought that 2 little iron pieces of metal in the ground would be so exciting. Years ago, probably about 10 years ago, there was a plan to look at this. And so this has evolved over time. And the way government works is after 3 or 4 years, there's certain check-ins. And recently we talked about municipal consent, and that's kind of the go, no-go scenario. And but once you get to it, you've already decided to go. It's really about what kind of flavor it's going to be. So,
and people might have seen the word municipal consent. What does that involve? What did the city have to consider? And I mean, obviously, you're saying yes to the process, but give us a little background on that.
Well, and it's people get confused. Like you can say no. It's 3 yes votes.
Right.
It's yes, yes, or yes.
Let people know, right.
You can vote yes and say we vote yes for consent with some conditions, like we want some changes done. You can say no answer, and it becomes a yes. Or you can say no, but you have to list the conditions by which the no becomes a yes. In a day, it's a yes vote anyway. And so our city council just said that here's the things that we want. We're going to say yes with those conditions laid out, because we want to make sure that we're driving the hardest bargain. And that we're getting what the city needs from this, because we're getting it. It's coming. So we've been very much fully realized what that means.
And there's been a lot of meetings before this point.
Yes.
Where the city council is getting information, but also the residents too.
Yep, and I think a couple years ago, the proposal was to redo the road, and then they were going to redo it for rail, and everybody's like, wait a minute, we haven't had this discussion.
Right.
And so we hit pause and we tabled it, and we asked the county and the Met Council to set a new record for how do you engage with people. And so we've had many dozens and dozens of meetings, gathered input. Not everybody all of a sudden became a fan, but people had their voice heard, and I think it's a better process.
Right.
And so, I tell people in 20 years from now, when the rail is running, people are going to ask, what was the big hoopla?
Right.
But there's a lot of things. There are people who have
lot
invested.
Of details, right.
People own a house on that street. They have the right to ask a lot of good questions.
Right.
So.
And you need that time, as part of the process.
Yep.
And then now at this point, the Metropolitan Council and Hennepin County and each of the cities are involved in the process.
Yes.
And then the federal government is involved with a lot to do with funding. What are the next steps in the process now that citizen consent, municipal consent, is there for the cities in the Blue Line extension?
Well, I think that part of it is, if I may back up a little step, is Hennepin County's needed to redo West Broadway for centuries now, I think, but a long time. And so part of it was we got the Hennepin County and Met Council combine their projects into one project. And that made it so that we wouldn't just do the road and then the rail later, or we do this. It was, we're going to do it all at one time. And so minimize impact and allow the city, we've got lots of work.
Right.
And so for this way forward, now we're talking about stationary planning, which is how should the area be around a station? How should it interact? Development, you'll see developers who are going to buy things and redevelop parcels of land because they want to be on a stop. And that is, typically you see development at stops, and Brooklyn Park is going to be blessed with 5 stops. So.
Yeah, because they're in the middle of designing the stations at this point. Tell us about what Brooklyn Park wants to see in the stations that are in your city.
We want them to reflect the character of the neighborhood, first and foremost. We want them to reflect Brooklyn Park. And so near the college, it's going to be a little more college. Near up on the north side, it'll be more job focused. On Brooklyn Boulevard, it's going to be more about the diversity that we have in the area. Some of that, the recent and longtime residents bringing some of their flavors to that, so that it reflects that neighborhood. Little things matter, like how is the pedestrian bridge or not?
Oh, that was going to be in my next question.
Yeah, is there going to be one? Is there not going to be one? Does it make sense? You put a bridge that's a mile long, people will just walk across the road anyway.
Because they won't want to.
And so those little factors. And so we're going to have some meetings on the pedestrian bridge and ask people, what do you want to do? A bridge is nice, but if no one uses it, so we need to figure that out.
So that's part of the public input that'll be up and coming in terms of what the stations look like and this pedestrian bridge.
Absolutely, because you're introducing something that if pedestrians are going to be more interacting with cars, so you want to make sure you safety, access.
Definitely.
You need to worry about people who have maybe some physical challenges, to make sure they can navigate and get to the stop. And now that you may be changing the character, if somebody wants to cross over who's not as able-bodied as another person, you may have to allow more time, or they call it a parking place, where you can stop in the middle, wait to the next line. So, but there would be, there's lots of opportunities, and the pedestrian bridge is one of them. We don't know.
Where would they want to put it?
It'll be on 63rd.
Okay.
So would it cross 81? Right now, 81 is it's a barrier, because most people don't cross it. And so the idea is that Brooklyn Center has made this nice parkway. We don't have an east-west green parkway for bikers. And so do the people, residents in the southern part of the city deserve one? I think so. But when they get to that 81, do we want them to just have an upgraded crossing, or do we want to have a bridge?
What's the best way for people in this area to tap into the website that's going to give them what's happening?
Yep, absolutely. So we did this when we learned some lessons about the communication. So it's brooklynpark.org/LRT.
Oh, that's simple.
Yep. And so there's a way to get on the mailing list, and people can get messages, and they get all the updated materials. We link to the Met Council, link to Hennepin County. And because we consider the rail and the road to be, from a resident's perspective, it's the same project. We've got, everything is packed in there. So people can see things. And I think we've heard a lot less about people feeling they're not informed, and so that's good.
That's very good.
That doesn't mean everybody's happy,
No.
but it just
But at
means
least they know what's happening.
yes,
Right.
it's an informed unhappiness, right?
Right.
So, but no, so we've been really trying to make sure that everybody is fully aware of what's going on.
Now, at Coon Rapids, there's a dam right near the river, and there's a regional park there, and then there's also a Brooklyn Park environmental area there. Can you tell us currently what each of these two provide? And then we'll talk about what's going to maybe happen in the future.
So I'm by the least patient with that, and it's not much in my book. It's certainly not to the level of regional park. It looks basically like a dam with a city park next to it. So we've been working with Three Rivers, and I think when the effort to redo the dam because it needed work came up, I think they realized they've just stuck a bunch of millions into the dam to redo it.
Right.
Let's take a look at the park that's attached to it. Why is it called Coon Rapids Dam? It's named after the dam, but it's not Coon Rapids. So
it's Brooklyn Park.
we know that it's going to get renamed.
Right.
Because and the Coon Rapids side, they're like, we don't know why you guys call it the Coon Rapids Dam Park either. So we're gonna that'll be part of the process. But what we're talking about is taking our land on the west side of Westwood Road and combining it with the land on the dam, which is on the east side of Westwood Road, and seeing what could that look like. My favorite is to get rid of the crossing at grade and put a tunnel in, because if you've ever been up there, people biking, walking. It's 45-mile-an-hour zone, and not everybody slows down. So,
Yeah.
So we're hoping, that's that type of stuff. We're looking to make it more nature-based. And so we're working on that. And, I think I warned them I'd be the toughest case in that, because that's my backyard, and I've been privileged to represent the river side of Brooklyn Park for now 10 years. I have a good idea what people want.
Right.
And
now it'll be like a joint venture between Three Rivers Park and Brooklyn Park?
Potentially, yeah, where we'd put it together and make it one park. Because really people don't care if it's city here, Three Rivers there. And so we're thinking, hey, if we can make it so that the park works together, why not set up a joint powers agreement, manage our property together? It makes sense to us. And the devil's in details.
Oh, definitely.
And
the joint powers agreement is when you work out those details between the city and the Three Rivers Park district.
And I think that, we tell all the time that I look at the park the way it is now. It's underserved.
Right.
And I call it under-delivering, in which in the city we're paying taxes for it.
Oh, definitely.
And so to me, just getting it to par is not good enough, because just getting it to what you should have had in there. And so I expressed my wishes for that, and I think we're getting to a good spot, and we'll get there.
Right. So what are the kinds of things that would be an improvement on that area? Not that you've decided anything, because you're in the middle of the process, but what are some of the possibilities?
Well, I think we'll try to get people into nature. And so part of it is there are trails there. But they're not ADA. People who, wheelchairs or people who are not physically able can't go down and enjoy the park. That'll change. We'll get that. So the grades aren't a slope. Other things might be more nature-based learning experiences.
Oh, sure.
Where kids from the schools, my son went to school where they went to the nature and lots of trips. And so, but that's just one school.
Right.
And so we're trying to get other kids in the city, because our city is a lot of immigrants here.
Oh, yes, you do.
And people say, well, why don't people ice fish?
Yeah.
Well, because these kids have never been taught that. They didn't grow up. And so we're trying to say, what can we introduce them to the Minnesota, the river, the wild, and things like that. And
via that particular park?
Absolutely. So we're looking at ways we can get people. One of them's a big tree house. So instead of having a zip line, we're going to have maybe some tree houses that people go up in, walk, and then they'll be able to see above the park.
Yeah. You'll get a whole different
like
view
they're
of
in the
it.
zip line.
Right.
And so I think that's one of those kind of unique things.
Right.
Yep.
So this is the time when there will be opportunities for citizen input into the process?
Yep, we've done the first round. And I think the first round is really about what do you want? Now we've got kind of a design. Now we're going to do a second round and say, okay, what do you think? And so, everyone won't be happy, myself included. But I think if we get to where we capture the essence of what people wanted, that'll be a good thing.
So that, again, using your website And what title should they look at?
You know, I'd have to look at that one, but
Okay.
it's brooklynpark.org. Look under Rec and Park.
Okay, just look under Park and Rec.
Yep.
And then you can plug into what's currently happening in that particular area.
Yep. And in Brooklyn Park, we call it the Rec and Park because otherwise it's the Brooklyn Park and Rec.
Oh.
So we switch it
Okay.
around a little bit, but no, it's there'll be notices, and we
Okay.
we try to not just go beyond the immediate neighbors because
Okay.
it's a regional park.
Oh, right.
So
right,
you
right.
and other people in
Other
other cities
yeah.
would want to know what's going in there, and so we're pretty excited about that.
And parks are important to our communities in terms of attracting families and things to your city, right?
Yep, absolutely. It plays a role, and I think, I believe every house in the city is within a half a mile of a park.
Aha. That's pretty good.
Yes, and and so we're trying to make more of them full features. Some were just, but yeah, it matters. Like the bikeway that we're missing in the south,
right.
And so this will have one that connects to the north. So,
And now, what are the roughly what's the timeline for this project?
so we move at the speed of government. So I would say that probably by this fall we'll have the outline of a joint powers agreement that may or may not be approved by then. You're probably looking at next summer for real work. We're talking about kayaking, we're talking about canoeing launches, we're talking about different things.
Right.
And so it'll take time, and some stuff are in their budget right away, and some stuff is grant based, and so, but having that plan, so as we get money, we can start to add stuff. But I think when you go up there, maybe next summer, that might be a little soon. You will notice some things.
You'll start seeing some changes.
Yeah, you will start seeing the cosmetics of that park that are very outdated and in need of change.
Right.
Will start to be changed.
Now, a program that has been in your city, and I think, looking at your website, I think it's been there a couple of years now. It's called BrookLink.
Yes.
And I thought we should tell people about it because I think it's kind of an interesting way of reaching out to the youth in your city. So it's a kind of a summer internship program. Maybe you can describe it.
Yeah, and a little bit of history. And Brooklyn Park, we started some of those activities down at Zanewood to try to get youth, instead of having their engagement with police be their summer, let's see if we can get some positive stuff.
Oh, right.
And so it came out of the belief that if you give kids hope and you give them opportunity, they'll take it. And so what we found is, okay, we're getting kids off the streets, we're getting them doing things, fun stuff. Okay, now what?
Right. What's the next step?
Yeah, the next step is, okay, what are these kids missing that is stopping them from making that jump to now they're working part-time in the summer?
Right.
And so what we found out is a lot of them were lacking that figure in their life, grandparent, parent, uncle, whoever that may be, who went to work every day. And so because they didn't see what work was, no idea. And so what we said is, let's see if we can find companies that in our city, internships or mentorships, which is a step below, to just get kids so they can come out and see and observe, hey, here's what work is. 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock, not 8:30.
Right.
Dressed up is dressed up, not shorts.
Yeah.
Those little things that you watch your parents historically do. And some of these kids just don't have both parents.
Right.
And so we're trying to say, here, can we introduce them? We've had 100% success rate in getting kids matched up. Businesses have stepped up. Boston Scientific, Cummins Power have stepped up. And just a guy who runs a mechanic who's got an auto shop took one.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
You've got kind of a mix, and it doesn't require a big corporation. If somebody says, 20 hours over the course of a summer, and the kid will come here, and all I have to do is help him understand what do I do, I can do that. So it's been successful that we had to expand it a little bit.
Right.
So
now, the first part of the process it's a work readiness program.
Yep. So any kid has to sign up.
So what happens there, or what does?
Yep. It just before the kid even gets to the businesses. They have to go through classes. And it's about setting expectations. It's about helping them understand. It's a bunch of things. So we don't just pick them up, deliver them to a business, and walk away and say, "Great, what a great program." So we try to get them ready because those skills hopefully will stick with them beyond just this 20-hour internship. And so we teach them expectations and all those little things to help get them ready for that 20 hours or whatever it may be.
And then they're making some money, right? Because the businesses are paying them, but they're also experiencing the world of work, right?
I think they're seeing things, and we try to match people up with careers. Like a person who wants to be a mechanic isn't going to show up at a salon for massage and hairdressing. You try to match up skill with skill. The person who wants to be work at a salon, maybe open one, be a business owner, they get matched up with someone like that. And so, Boston Scientific brought in kids to introduce them to STEM, science, technology, and so there's a lot of things for kids. Everybody assumes college. The 4-year degree
but there's a lot available out there that people don't know about.
I would say we're actually missing the people that can do technical hands-on, and business owners tell me that all the time, is that they need less certain degrees and more hands-on technical knowledge, and they end up training these people themselves.
Now, was last year the first year of the program, or did it start prior? Okay.
Yep, first year last year.
So how many youth did you have
I have in my head
involved?
20 or 40, and I think it's one of those two numbers.
Okay.
So, but I do know that we placed 100% of what we aim for, and that 100% of the business owners on the survey said they'd want to participate again.
Oh, that's very positive.
Right. And so what we're trying to do also is we're going to work our way into where we're taking more risk with kids. Not that the kids are bad, just that maybe they've got something in their history that because those are the kids who, if we turn them around, have the biggest upside.
Oh, definitely.
And too often today, people gravitate to the kids who are going to succeed already. The 10% high flyers who are going to make it. That's not the ones who need help. It's the ones, the 20-30% range. So
the potential is there, but they aren't quite reaching.
Right,
it
and
yet.
there's risk there. There's risk that something bad,
Right.
Not something bad, just they may not respond.
So kind of a goal of the program is to use your business resources, but introduce your youth to the working world.
Yep, and I think the key is that it would not succeed without the business community.
Oh, right.
Volunteering to take these kids on. And we're not asking for more than 20, 30 hours a week or through the course of the program.
Right.
So the fact is the program is dependent on the willingness of our business community to engage in this.
Well, and you have a lot of good-sized businesses as well as the smaller and medium-sized businesses to appeal to.
Well, I think sometimes the smaller business owner is an entrepreneur and he's making it. And so maybe a kid isn't cut out for big corporate world, but really wants to start his own business or her own business. And so let's match them up with a person who did that and knows that it's painful and it's hard work, and owning your own business isn't 8 to 5, it's 7 by 24. And so getting those connections.
And so were you able to expand the number of businesses this year?
So I think we stayed the same number.
Okay.
Just because we wanted to do a 2-year program, and then but with the interest rate at 100%. Because now if we decide to make it a little bit bigger, it really becomes something that cities are going to have to take a harder look at. Do we offer this program as part of our, city program? Or
right. So it's kind of a trial. A trial run to see what you need to do to improve it.
I think what's really interesting is that, so nationally we're known for after school. So getting kids out of situations and the good things. And so a lot of people around the nation are watching to see how we do this, because they already watch us for after school.
Right, and you've done a lot there.
And now we're saying, can we take the next step?
Now, we're going to back up now to 610, because there is some development that's happening on there. Now, one of the things is what's happening with that Target Business Tower, because that was a big Brooklyn Park and Target made a lot of decisions and joint things, and then the recession came. So what's happening there now?
I think we're getting that consolidation.
Okay.
So they had some Target Canada that went away, and so layoffs, and so people I think were like, hey, wait a minute, see, this is what you're worried about. But the good part about it is Target West is consolidating. So about 1,300 jobs are moving to Brooklyn Park come June. And so that's one of the values of having the North Campus and the downtown, is anything that's going to happen. It's
one of those two places, right?
They're not disappearing.
Right.
And so we're plenty happy with that kind of
So that's moving the whole process forward.
Yes, yep, and that helps, we talk about that weight, that mass of things for shopping, and other things starts to occur.
And then also, it's a little bit away from 610, but there's a new library, a new Hennepin County Library. Why don't you
Just
tell
down
us about
the
that?
future line, I
Right.
guess. Yep, so we've, a few years ago, identified the need, and the county agreed. And so we have a new library that will be probably groundbreaking late June, and it will be right across North Hennepin. And the kind of the beautiful thing is it's on the rail stop,
Okay.
but it's also eventually going to be, North Hennepin will expand across 85th on the north and put some more buildings, and eventually all that will be hooked together. So, trying to get taxpayers' money to be used for multi-use.
Yeah, right.
So the library can be used by North Hennepin students, not just.
Not just in the people in your area.
And it'll be the first of its kind, I think, in this area for media, where people can go in there and they can film videos, they can do TV shows, they can do all kinds of things.
Right.
And so kids can do that, and they can check out rooms and do things like that.
So lots of interesting things.
Yeah,
coming.
I think it's a fact that libraries have to change because.
Yes.
My son, they still read books, but the Kindle generation and all that digital media
Yes.
is coming. So.
And then what new businesses have been added recently along 610?
Yeah, I think a few. We're getting quite the international flavor. Obviously Olympus Medical has been there. We added Worth Adams, which is a German company, and then Nilfig, which is a Danish company, and then Design Ready Controls. So I think people, when they drive 610, it's very they believe it because you can see construction.
Right, you can see
we
it.
have luxury apartments. In fact, just last night I toured them. Rent can range from $1,800 to $3,200.
Ooh, wow, pretty fancy.
Very nice. A whole different world of what an apartment looks like, and that's going to be across the Target campus. That's a $100 million apartment complex. Obviously, the crowd favorite is going to be Hy-Vee, opens in August. I think that's the one everybody's most excited about. And then right next to Hy-Vee, there's a company that needed to leave its space, Star Exhibits. They're building a new building right across the road. And I think, we're starting to see what the promise of what 610.
Finally.
A few years ago, we talked about taking some of the retail area on the north side of 610 and turning it into apartments. And it was a little contentious on council, and eventually it was turned down. And now, just recently, a company out of Michigan called Myers, they confirmed it. They bought the property, and they have a Super Target type of about a 200,000 square foot retail.
Lots of new business coming.
Yes, I'm waiting for the other problem, which is people saying there's too much traffic and too much shopping. But that's a good thing.
Right. Well, I want to thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
as we've covered a lot of different areas.
Thank you.
And I also want those of you out there to know that starting May 2nd, you're going to need to go to channel 859, because it's there right now. You could go watch it there tonight, but channel 19 will no longer be the station that you'll see our program on. So tuck that away, and if you can't find us come the beginning of May, go to 859, and that will help you out. And we'll ask you to be sure to tune in next week for part 2 of Brooklyn Park's Issues. And we're glad that you're with us, and we hope you'll join us again next week. Bye.